7, it's Mr. Byrne here, and I'm going to be talking you through your next lesson on the Tudors. What I'd like to do to start today is have a bit of fun. I'd like to have a guess on what you think we're going to be learning about today. And if any of you guess the correct answer, I'll be really, really impressed. So as the pictures disappear, have as many guesses as you want, see what you think we are learning about. As you can now see the full picture, I'd like you to have a guess and write down on your sheet or on your computer what you think today's lesson is on. Let's see if any of you got it right then. So we're going to be looking at the Spanish Armada today, and that's going to be the title of what we're looking at. So if you'd like to put your title on your sheet for me, please. And what we're going to try and do today, our objective of today's lesson, we're going to understand why Philip II ordered the Spanish to attack England. And we're going to explain why that attack failed. Okay? And then if you want to know our success criteria, like we have in lessons, it's just down here, okay? So a bit of background information on the Spanish before we start looking into their invasion. In the 16th century, Spain was the richest and most powerful country in the world. Spanish ships were at sea, discovering new land and bringing back treasure and gold for their king, Philip II. In 1588, King Philip set every shipyard in Spain to work to build the biggest fleet of ships the world had ever seen, and he called the ships the Spanish Armada. King Philip and his huge fleet of warships had one aim, and their aim was to invade and take over England. Okay? So the first thing we need to do, we need to have a look at the causes. So why? Why did this man want to take over England? So what I'd like you to do, you should have been sent a worksheet by your history teacher, and I'd like you to read through the causes, these boxes here, on why the Spanish wanted to invade. And what I want you to do is rank them as the most important cause to the least important cause. And remember, you can't be wrong, but you need to be able to justify your opinion of why you pick number one as number one down here at the bottom. Okay, so I'll give you a second just to pause and complete that task. Okay, it's going to be interesting to see what some of you come up with, and I look forward to seeing them when you send them in. The next thing we need to do is go back to the beginning of our Year 7 history learning. And we need to work on that skill we remember as chronology, so putting things in a chronological order. So the second worksheet that your teacher should have sent you should look like this. And it's got 8 boxes on it. What I want you to do, I'd like to pause the video and put them into chronological order. So pause the video, and then we'll see how many you can get. Okay then, what I'd like to do now, I'd like to get a different coloured pen or mark your work, whichever way you normally do on the computer, and see how many you got correct. So the first thing that happened, King Philip of Spain decides to attack and conquer England. That's the first one you should have got. Number 2, the Armada set sail from the Cadiz harbour in southern Spain. On the 29th of July, the Spanish fleet are spotted off the coast of Cornwall. English ships follow them around the English Channel for 1 week, but fail to sink any Spanish ships. Number 4, the Spanish fleet arrives at Calais on the 5th of August and waits for soldiers to join the fleet, but none arrive. Next one. Under the orders from Sir Francis Drake, the England begin to attack the Spanish with their fire ships. And these are old ships that are filled with straw, gunpowder, and pig fat. They are set on fire and launched at the Spanish. Okay, so a good little tactic there. The Spanish are panicked by the fire ships and they scatter all over the North Sea. And the English continue to attack while they are trying to run away. The Spanish flee and attempt to return to Spain. However, they are caught up in a storm and most of their ships are damaged. And the last one, the Spanish soldiers in the damaged ships starve as their food goes mouldy. And men who manage to get ashore around Scotland and Ireland are attacked as invaders. So they're attacked and killed. So give yourself a mark out of 8. How well did you do on the chronology challenge? Next thing I'd like us to do then, I'd like to have a look through the 4 sources. So there's 4 sources, and I want you to tell me, what does this tell you about why the Spanish failed with their armada in their attack under King Philip? So pause the video, read the source, and tell me why it made the Spanish fail. Okay, then let's have a look how you did. Let's see if you picked up some of the same things as me. So the first thing you should have picked out is that the King Philip is unhappy. King Philip II was not expecting the weather to stop his invasion. And we can infer the weather stopped the Spanish from winning. They were not prepared, and their men were not ready to fight the elements. So that's like the wind and the rain that destroyed their ships. So that's what source 1 is telling you. Source 2, we can pick out that the English were better at fighting because it says they did well. We can also say that they mobilized quickly, and that just means they were quick to respond to stop the Spanish invasion. And we can also say the use of English weapons, such as artillery, played a factor, as the English were able to sink and destroy lots of Spanish ships. And remember, those ships were running away. They were trying to get away from the fire ships. And while they were doing that, they were getting attacked by these huge cannons. Number 3, let's have a look at what you came up with. So, first of all, we're saying that the leading members of the Spanish fleet were given their rank based on being upper class and not what they know. So these people in charge were given it because they were rich and powerful, not because they were good sailors. So that's not a good thing for the Armada. Secondly, the source is saying that the Spanish leadership was poor, and it meant the tactics weren't very good. If you don't know what you're doing as a leader, your soldiers or your sailors aren't going to know what to do either. And obviously, people like Francis Drake, who came up with those brilliant ideas to send the fire ships, obviously had better ideas than the Spanish did. Finally, then, this source is saying the English used their resources better and were more skillful at fighting at sea. Obviously, England is a land that is surrounded by sea, so we're going to become accustomed and we're going to be good at fighting using our navy and on the sea. And also, the source is saying that we built better ships. So King Philip might have built a lot of ships, but they weren't very good, and they weren't built in a sturdy and equipped manner. So that means they're going to lose because they are not as prepared to fight. Right then, what I'd like to have a look at now is some extended writing. And on your worksheet now, there's this information sheet which summarises all the information of why the Armada lost. And what I'd like you to do, I'd like you to use all of the evidence we've gone through today. And I want you to explain why Philip II was unsuccessful in his attempt to invade England in 1588. If you're struggling, you think, oh, I can't really remember how to write this out, or I haven't done extended writing properly in a long time, what I've done is I've staggered you a sheet at the bottom of your worksheets that should be sent out by your history teacher. And that walks you through step by step what you need to integrate into every paragraph. And I'd like you to pause it here and have a go at writing an answer to this question then. So why did they fail? And I want you to think about, to be successful, you need to explain all the reasons for the failure of the Armada. And remember to explain which reason you think is the most important. So pause the video here, read this, and have a go at this question for me. Finally then, that's everything we've looked at today to do with the Spanish Armada and linked to Queen Elizabeth's rule in England. So what I'd like you to do now, I'd like you, as a little finishing task just for a bit of fun, I'd like you to write a tweet on your sheet explaining the reaction of Elizabeth to the defeat of the Spanish. And whoever writes the most engaging or intriguing quote, I will give a prize to when we come back to school. So let's see who can put their evidence and the things they've learned today into a short sentence like you would do on Twitter and place that at the bottom of your worksheet. Once you've done that, save all your work or take a photograph if you wrote it down and send it to your history teacher. Thank you for today. Stay safe, everybody.